Hi, welcome at a new Workplace Ninja Netherlands podcast recording. New year, new podcast, new initiatives, what will happen in 2025 is a lot. So we have a packed agenda for this recording. Not really what's new, but there are a lot things upcoming. So let's mention that one. That kind of things also. I'm Frans Oudendorp, and I have with me in the recording. Who starts?
Peter Aalmans, Happy New Year.
Joost
Joost.
Pruijsteen. Sander Rozenmuller.
Eric Loof.
And Kenneth van Surksum. But do you have audio issues, Kenneth?
Yeah, I do. So here I am, Kenneth here. Hi.
So, welcome, guys. Happy New Year to everyone. Also from the Workplace Ninja Netherlands community, and so let's continue. So, Eric, I think you have some work. You had some work to do in the last few days off because there was some nightmare, probably.
Yeah. I manage a lot of customers, which also depends on Active Directory, which is an on-site, depends on an on-site server. And there was, in December, there was a vulnerability in LDAP. And there was also a proof of concept code came out during Christmas time. And with that proof of concept, there's a one-click executable, and then your domain controller will reboot automatically. So that was not a good idea to happen, and it was also possible to do a remote code execution, but there was no proof of concept code for yet. So only rebooting of the server is a proof of concept code for. So I had to make sure that on every domain controller I manage or co-manage. For example, a customer does we do a subset of the complete environment, for example. That the patch was enrolled, so yeah, we will not get a call during Christmas or during New Year's Day that the servers went rebooting all over the time. So and it was also on the scale 9.8, so it was really high, really high. So yeah, we had to act immediately. So and it was called LDAP Nightmare. Yeah, but we patched everything. So in the end, nothing really happened, but it was big in the news. So that's so we need to check and send out to every customer who has an own Active Directory that the patches were installed correctly and the proof of concept code doesn't work, because I also tested it in my home lab, and yeah, you can see reboot the server, and after installing the patch it doesn't reboot anymore. And you also, when you start the client, you don't need to authenticate, you don't need to have a domain joined machine. So yeah, it's just a single click. You only have a line of sight to the domain controller is needed. So that's the summary of the LDAP Nightmare.
Yeah, and that's regarding CVE. Do you have a number? CVE 2024
2024 49113
112
and 3 3.
2 and 3.
Yeah, it was one of the crashes. I thought it's 113. It's 112 is remote code execution, and 113 is a denial of service. So they're both depending on the same researcher also. So research has found a vulnerability in LDAP, and it's found two vulnerabilities. It's 112 and 113. Where 112 is remote code execution, and 113 is denial of service and the crash. So 113, there's a proof of concept code for. 112, there is no proof of concept code for yet. But you can imagine if you can do remote code execution on domain controller, that's not a good idea.
That's no good idea, and you can fix that with the Microsoft December 2024 security update. That should be mitigate this vulnerability.
But
Yes.
Eric, with all the security issues going on against on-premises Active Directory environments, do you still think that there's a possibility to make it secure, or is it only
No, from my
patching that you
opinion,
can do?
it's not. Yeah, you can. You can, of course, you can harden, but the problem is Active Directory is there since Windows 2000, which is basically 25 years ago, and all protocols, NTLM, Kerberos, are still working, and it's backwards compatibility. So the problems are always, but there are possibilities that you can. There are some initiatives from Microsoft that there is a Kerberos NTLM in between phase new, but yeah, before implementing and when you're gone, the best way is to phase out the domain controller step by step. So, for example, start with make your laptops modern instead of domain joined, and then attack surface reduction, and in the end get rid of the domain controller. But yeah, do it in a step-by-step approach. It's not that easy. In theory, it's easy. In practical, it's not that easy.
No. And for example, if something pops up and it has a certain CVSS score, as you mentioned, do you have like a baseline where we patch everything above 7, or you patch everything that's known, or?
Normally, we have a schedule, a patch Tuesday, then we have on Wednesday a meeting, and then on Thursday we start patching automatically.
Yeah.
So if there are issues, then maybe on Thursday we know already. That's our patching schedule. Just do a patch and don't think about it. And then we have the 4 eyes principles. We have Defender on the threat vulnerability management from Defender, and then we have which reports back if there are vulnerabilities. So we use that as a because we have seen situations where the patch management system says everything is okay, and then when you look at the system itself, it says it doesn't say it's installed. So to make sure we have another system to check for it's a 4 eyes principle system. So we are 100% sure that the systems are patched.
Yeah, indeed. So one of many to come from a vulnerability point of view, probably this year.
Yeah, it was a good start of 2025 with, of course, it was with the proof of concept code. Okay, it started again.
Yeah, but Eric, on the other hand, you had some free time over besides this LDAP Nightmare, because you were sharing a nice video with me in the last few days regarding some BlackHat sessions that you have seen. what was the most important thing and the most enjoyable session that you have watched?
Yeah, what was interesting was that BlackHat Europe was there, and the multiple of the sessions were posted on YouTube, so you can check it out yourself. And it varies from really deep dive code, driver, malware analysis. Okay, that's too heavy for me. And there's also one was a laid back session, a much if you ask me, and it was about the phishing simulation of Microsoft. So there was a researcher, a Dutch company, iSecurity, and it was testing the phishing simulation, or it was and want to use it for his customer, but needs some overrides in the system. And then they did a deep dive into the phishing, and then he found out that there in the templates of Microsoft there were URLs, some fake Atlassian URLs. And what he found out is that DNS zone before the fake atlassian wasn't registered. So what he did is registering those Atlassian fake URLs, and he saw from all the world all kind of traffic coming in. So he reported it to Microsoft, and he got a bug bounty of $3,000. But there's more. So he scraped all the templates. And another bug bounty came in, and then he after that he found out that the sender of the sender of the email was also a fake domain, of course not registered. So he registered that domain, and then in his talk he showed also replies he gets from those phishing simulation mails. I don't. I tried to open the file, but it doesn't work. Till can you help me, please? Or you can trick me. That kind of mails. So that was really nice. Of course, here again the domain. Of course, he get back to Microsoft again. Bug bounties of $5,000. Then he moved on. Then, of course, Microsoft deleted the template of Atlassian. But after 2 months, somebody inserted again the old template of the Atlassian. So he saw an activity on his Atlassian. And then, in the end, again to Microsoft, bug bounty of $3,000. So in this talk, in the upper right corner, there was a bag of gold, and it was 3,000 to 20,000 bug bounty was there. So yeah, it's a really nice talk. Frans, you can add it in the comments. And he ends up with something different. That he also have some research. He did also research in the DAP to GDAP migration tool of Microsoft, and then he found out that you can not become global administrator, but you can become global administrator in the GUI of every tenant. That's what he found out. That's really nice to see. So he knows the tenant ID of Microsoft.com, and he was able to get to be global admin in the Microsoft tenant in the GUI. If you look at users, but it doesn't have the rights. So. And Microsoft, there's also I want a bug bounty for that, but Microsoft that's only a GUI thing, so you have not elevated to that right. But that was a nice talk. So a must watch.
Yeah, but in general, what was the outcome for you? Are you still using Attack Simulation or?
No, yeah. So what he did in talk, the trust in this project was completely gone. So it's not a good marketing for the phishing simulation, I think, because so many things are not okay. So think about it. If it's okay to use, it's up to you yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good to watch. I will post the URL in the description of this this podcast of this video. So have a look at that and see by yourself what has happened. But in the meantime, this all has happened more than a year ago, and everything is already fixed within the Microsoft environment. But nevertheless, there were some stuff that could be better. On the other hand, have we other activities done in during holidays regarding work, or do we have a few days off from ourselves? Anyone has some work related stuff? No, Peter.
Yeah, a little bit. Some updates from the Intune site. I heard a lot of background noise, but some information around updating your CDNs. On the 23rd of December, Microsoft posted a message that on the 27th of December, as a result of the HGO retirement, aka that company that was hosting the CDN endpoints for Microsoft was filed bankruptcy. So they had to move quickly, and ending up that they needed to change the endpoints, the CDN endpoints for Win32 apps and PowerShell scripts. So for customers, explicitly whitelisting IP addresses and URLs of Microsoft, for instance, if they are using solutions like Zscaler or the Entra private access, internet access, then most likely you need to update those CDN URLs. Otherwise, the installation of Win32 apps or PowerShell scripts will fail. So there was a little thing that happened, and with a really short notice because of the bankruptcy. Another thing which came also into play during the holidays is that as of December 31st, Microsoft Intune is no longer supporting Android device administration management that rely on the Google Mobile Services platform. So, which means that all those old Android Teams phones need to be upgraded to the Android open source project platform. And this is mainly done by a firmware upgrade from the vendor. So I think there was quite some noise around that. At least at customers using those phones.
Yeah.
Or
Do
Teams
you
devices.
already have customers who already did upgrade their firmware, Peter?
No, but I have one device which is not upgraded yet, so I need to look at that. But yeah, it is being done via a firmware upgrade. So
but I'm not like into Teams all the time, but I actually haven't seen any firmware upgrades performing this from any vendor yet. It could be that they are there, but I think there's still a lot of work to do at this point. Yeah.
I'm afraid so. Yeah. On the other hand, not all customers enroll their devices into Intune. So Teams is also capable of managing those devices directly from the Teams platform. So that can also be the case that not all those phones are Intune managed anymore.
Indeed. We see it mainly, for example, when we block access to Office 365 only for compliant devices. Then we, of course, need to enroll, make sure that there's a compliance policy. Can be a simple one, but the device should be compliant in order for users to be able to access things like Teams and stuff like that. Because in the end, that's still an app installed on that device in that point in time.
True.
Interesting.
For the rest, there were some minor updates on the Intune side with hardly impact. I think not really worth mentioning.
Also, some people at Microsoft has holiday, so probably that was the reason why not so many updates are coming through.
Exactly.
Kenneth, is there probably an Entra something to mention?
Well, I think that one point that we are missing is actually the what also was in the news, the bypass of the compliancy on the devices, the possibility to do so. I think it was also for BlackHat where it was presented, and that there are certain cases where conditional access policies which require a compliant device can be bypassed using this technique, where they actually use some capabilities of the Intune company portal in order to bypass those conditional access policies and get actually a token in that case. I think we can mention some more information on the YouTube channel later on. But I think that the lesson we learned here is that we should have multiple protection layers in place. For example, always require MFA when doing device registration, accessing all cloud apps, and not depend on only just one conditional access policy for the as the security measure for devices in that case. So
Yes. Erik?
a lot going on there, but mainly it's because in some cases you need to exclude the Intune company app from your conditional access policy. And there are some cases known, also documented by Microsoft in that case. But if that's the only measure that you have, you should really ask yourself whether your conditional access policies are complete from that point of view.
Yeah. Anything to add, Erik?
You can play it. There also was some kind of PowerShell toolkit or Python toolkit, Tokensmith. Then you can test it yourself. And the nice thing is because why is there so much fuss about it? Is by the many companies are using the compliant device option to log in, and the problem is if you have, for example, credentials, and you have the compliant device, then you cannot log in from your hacker box. So the scripts need to be run on the laptop from the end user, which is not really convenient for a hacker from a hacker's perspective. So if you can bypass the manage device option, you can use your hacker box again. So that's why there was so much fuss about this Tokensmith thing, because you can bypass compliant device conditional access policy, which is a really hard thing for hackers, because they can because that fixes that you need to run your scripts from another device with all kind of app locker or app control for business, another set of issues for the hacker. And if you have your own to attack the cloud from your own hacking box, it's really convenient. So you can try it yourself, Tokensmith. There are many tutorials about it. There's a talk, of course, and also a Dutch guy, Dirk-Jan Mollema, has some contribution to this research. So, and he's also became an MVP this year. So, take a look at it. And from another thing about the Entra perspective, I have to ask Kenneth or maybe someone else. I saw that there will be a new option for authentication using a QR code. Did you see that already? It's for especially for first-line workers from Entra. It's a new variant. It's for preview. You can enable it by graph. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. I only saw it fast, but for me it was new.
It's a new authentication policy, yeah. So users will be able. It's mainly targeted towards frontline workers, so people having small devices, etc. And they actually can use the QR code to log in on their device. And it requires or there's actually a new authentication method policy available for that, so that you can actually target it to specific groups or exclude groups from being able to use it. For example, exclude your accounts with which contain the break class functionality.
Nice.
But again, it's quite new, so I've seen it popping up, but I didn't see any concrete examples on how it is used. But from what I understood, it's mainly targeted towards the frontline workers in this case. On that part, Microsoft is doing a lot to make logging in for frontline workers as easy as possible, because they can even do first factor sign in using their phone number. So they don't need a user ID anymore. They can just sign in with their phone number if registered.
Nice. Before moving forward, Joost,
Oh, sorry.
are there any things to move forward in Intune?
I think there are several things in development, so might be coming soon. First thing is, I think a lot of people are trying to do and use ARM devices right now. I've got one. I know Kenneth got one. Peter got one, and some people have them in store. but EPM isn't working yet on those devices, and the possibility for an ARM agent is coming up, and that one might be close. What we also see is the security baselines are finally being updated for 24H2 and Edge version 128. So yeah, that's good to see. They are finally coming, and I hope they are coming in the next release, so somewhere on the 23rd of this month, but I don't know for sure. And that's are the topics for me in development. What was bigger ones.
Okay, anything to add? Anyone?
Well, maybe something to think about on whether we want to allow 24H2 Windows 11 devices in our environment without us having a proper security baseline in place. So ask yourself whether you want to have those devices in your environment yet, or whether you actually, using feature updates, keep your devices on 23H2. And especially related to ARM devices makes it even more complex, because those devices were actually being delivered using 24H2 due to the Copilot functionality. So yeah, I think that there are many companies which already have 24H2 devices within their environments. And as Joost already explained, for example, if some security features are not working, then you have an issue, to say so. Another example which I found out last week was that, for example, the Global Secure Access Client is not available on RM as well. So yeah, it might be worthwhile to maybe wait for all these things to be solved before deciding to adopt it in your environment.
But you can at least start testing and learn what the new capabilities are of the ARM device, but also 24H2.
Yeah.
And indeed, a broad rollout. All of my customers, we stopped the broad rollout. We are still testing. So,
yeah,
and that's for a reason.
Okay. Sander,
Yes.
you were still quiet.
Yeah.
You have something to add to this conversation, because you want to interrupt me a few seconds ago.
Yeah, well, I was triggering. What kind of triggers me about the frontline workers, which are able to log in using a phone number, for example. The thing I'm curious about is because a username is tenant unique and even globally unique, I guess. But a phone number isn't. So I'm curious about what happens when multiple users having the same phone number in the user properties. But I think it's
Simple. That it's not possible. So it's only like considered like a more easier way to log in, because frontline workers, you shouldn't even expect them to know their username, their UPN. So therefore, what they do know is their phone number.
yeah.
And again, these are very specific frontline worker cases. But we do see that more and more functionality for especially frontline workers is being added to the whole way of logging in and using devices and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the phone number, from what I know, the phone number can only add it once. And if someone else tries to add that phone number, it get a message that is already registered. So
Yeah, it could be a way to circumvent that.
yeah,
But again, with everything that we do, we of course assume that the login name that we use is unique, and that's not different with the phone number in that case. Yeah.
okay. From Defender, the only thing to mention is the Defender boxed. That's good to see. If you from January, I think until somewhat in July, Defender boxed is available, and you can see what your organization has done in the last year. So it gives a summarization of all the security successes, improvements, response actions that you have done. If you are logging into security.microsoft.com, Defender box will appear if you have security admin or global admin rights, and then you can see what happens in what has happened in your organization. And I think that's good to see what happened and learn from that, but also celebrate successes on that. I think that was more or less the stuff that we want to discuss. But we have a few things left. We have an event upcoming in February 5th, and February 6th. We will be in Belgium with the whole crew supporting MC2MC with the MC2MC Connect. But do we have tickets left for the 5th of February, Kenneth?
Yeah, I think there are still a couple of tickets left, so perhaps 10, a little bit more. But I think we will finish and sell out quite soon if you look at the amount of tickets being bought in the last couple of days.
Yeah, maybe if this recording is coming online, they are already sold out. But if you're listening and if you want to join us, see if there are tickets available. If not, yeah, maybe you can reach out to someone of us and ask if you can be on the wait list, or if there is a small spot left. Probably reach out and maybe we can help you.
Indeed. Yeah.
I think this recording is on Friday, 10th of January. Peter, when are the sessions live on the website?
On Friday, the 10th of February.
So when this recording is available, all the sessions are available on our website at wpninjas.nl/connect. And I think it's really worth to see what will happen on the 5th of February. Where is it, Kenneth?
Yeah, it's in Gorinchem in the Netherlands. Actually, the hometown of where the company of Eric is based. We have been in Gorinchem for many times already. It's a new venue though. We haven't been there before, but it's really nice. Yeah, we're really looking forward to visiting Gorinchem on February 5th.
Yeah. Now all the information can be found on wpninjas.nl/connect. URL will also be posted in the description. So looking forward to that. We have some call for sessions running or upcoming. Kenneth, Erik, one of you both organizing and featuring the speaker panel stuff in Experts Live. How is that running at the moment?
Yeah, very well. We have received a lot of sessions already. And I think the call for sessions is still open until next week, Friday. So if you want to submit a session, be fast.
Yeah. Okay, and there is one upcoming, Peter?
Workplace Ninja Summit. Yes, the plan is to have the call for sessions open on the 31st of January, so the end of this month.
Cool.
And that will run most likely until somewhere in April, May. So
Plenty of
think of
time to
nice
submit.
subjects. Yeah,
Plenty of time to submit a session there.
exactly.
Joost, what about the BEM Summit? Is it still open? You're muted.
Same, still open, but open until the 17th of this month. And their first speakers are going to be announced soon.
Cool.
Okay, and that call for sessions can be found at Sessionize.
Yep.
All of them.
And
So
all of
also,
them,
please share the URLs with me, then I can post them in the description as well. Thanks for that. And last but not least, we have an upcoming trip. Peter, can you enlighten us on the WP Ninja trip to Australia?
Yes, yes. Yeah, on the 7th of February, I'm flying to Melbourne
Lucky
to
one.
visit the Australia user group, Workplace NIAS Australia, and Jose and Stephen Hoskin, the organizers, are organizing 3 events. So, on the 11th of February, event in Melbourne, and then a couple of days later, we drive 7.5 hours to Canberra, and the event is on the 14th of February. So then, yeah, the major city of Australia will be done, and then we drive to Sydney, where we have an event on the 17th of February. And from Europe, Kenny Buntings will be joining me, and Mirko Kolenberg. And then the rest is local speakers. So if you are located in Australia, go to wpninjas.au, and there you find all the information about the 3 events, the agendas, and yeah, where the sessions will be held. So yeah, that will be an awesome trip.
Yeah, and if you are located in Australia, please join the guys over there to see the sessions and what they bring on the table. And we hopefully, when you're back in February or probably in March, we will do a recording on that trip to see what has happened there. And please share all the photos with us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Any other thing to mention in this recording? Anyone? No, then we're closing up.
Oh, we have maybe one. We have our meetup agenda ready on Meetup. The first regular session is the 1st of April. So make sure to sign up also to our local meetups if you're not able to join the 5th. We have 6 other meetup sessions also scheduled the rest of the year. So will be an exciting Workplace NIAS year, if you ask me.
Definitely. And all the information regarding Workplace Ninja Netherlands can be found on wpninjas.nl. Links to the meetup page, to the YouTube channel, to the podcast area is can be found on the website. So please visit our website and see all the resources that we have created. On the other things, no one was mentioning that. Only Peter had some extra information for us. I will thank you for listening to this recording. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Let's move forward and see what 2025 will bring from a community perspective. It will be an awesome year, I guess. And let's move forward. Thanks.